Hey everybody, this is Daniel Fairley here, full-time knife maker from Colorado. This is my KMG Grinder. It's a knife maker's grinder. I use this thing about 40 hours a week. In this video I'm going to go over the grinder, how it works, and show you guys what to look for when you buy one. Well, first of all, I got the package with the 2 horsepower, 3 speed, and 220 volt setup. You have to do the wiring yourself, but it's pretty simple. There's a wiring diagram on the back of the motor here. It's really simple to follow. And I have a switch that I built into mine that makes it a little simpler, and I think it's safer. You don't want to plug this thing in all day long when you're working. And that's a pretty heavy duty motor. It's a Leeson energy saving motor. I'm really happy with the 2 horse for the power. The performance on it's great. And as well as getting the motor with the package, I got the base plate right here, which everything bolts to. I like that. I also have a work rest right there. The flat plating. You could take the plating off very simply with these 2 screws, and that way you have a convex or a slack belt attachment where you take the plating off. I have the 10-inch wheel. I'm really happy with that size wheel for the type of grinding I do. About the only modification mine has a rubber contact wheel on the top, which I like a lot. When I'm shaping my handles, I can use this. It works a little bit better than the aluminum one. I had them switched out for a while, but I like this better. It throws sparks on you a little more, but it's easier to work in that area. Okay, so if you're going to be grinding knives, you're going to be using a lot of belts up, so I'm going to cover how to put one on. And I've just pulled one off the rack. It's really easy to do. Just put it around the grinder, pull it up, push that down to tension it. You want a good tension, pretty tight. And then you're ready to turn it on. Alright, so you just got some grinding done, and you need to change the speed on your grinder for some reason. It's on medium right now, but this is really simple to do and hard to hold the camera for, so bear with me. What you're going to do is you're just going to get your thumb, push it over to the smaller one, and then you're going to pull it back. That was really hard to do holding the camera. It's really simple to do. That's all you got to do. Nothing to it. Just put it on the smaller wheel, pull it over in that direction, and then you're back. Once again, I'm just doing this with my forearm while I'm filming, so it's kind of tough to do, but that's as simple as a belt change is on a 3-speed grinder. Nothing to it. So that's the slowest speed. It's pretty slow. It's hard to show how slow it is on camera. But that is great for finish grinding and wood and handle work, that type of thing. Medium. High speed. High speed it is. Really cranking. Don't forget, after you finish grinding, just release the tension on your belt. You're good to go. I like to keep my belts I'm working with in one area. I keep them stored away from the grinder in another area according to grit. I've got zirconia belts for handles and a few other things. Scotch-Brite belts for finishing and once again other type of stuff, deburring. And gator belts here, which do quite a lot of the polishing work. If you'd like to use a work rest, you have a pretty versatile system. Say you have your flat plating on. I just keep a couple screws and washers down there. All you're going to do is just slide it into there. And then just tighten down your screws. Once it's slid in, you have a nice square surface, and you can square it out to 90 degrees. The simple carpenter square. Like that. You can see mine is tilted back a little bit because it's easier to work with. If you wanted it to be perfectly square, you would just loosen these 2 bolts and tilt it forward. It's really simple. You can use this work rest to say square up the back of this Kiridashi. Alright, so I got the belt off and changing out. Simple as loosening it, pulling it out here. These are pretty heavy, so it's nice to have a rack. I just have a table with plenty of space, so that's great for me. Just put in my 10-inch contact wheel here, rubber wheel. for doing hollow grinds, and it's great for profiling and a lot of stuff. In fact, I'm finding it's better to do your profiling on a rubber wheel. In action. And once again, these are really versatile. It has screw holes here and down here. Even on the side here, you could add your flat plating like this, or even like this on top. You can make your own accessories to add to it. There's a map arm you can add onto it also that holds the work rest. That way it's adjustable. There's a convex plating you can get that's great. I don't have one of those yet. And there's the small wheel attachment. I think there's a few more. I'll show you guys the small wheel next. And here's what the small wheel attachment looks like. As you can see, it's really heavy duty machine billet aluminum. Here's a small wheel. I have a few more, like a 1/4 inch, and I have I think that's a 3/4. This is a 1 inch I use a lot. What you're going to do is just slide it in, clicks in place. And what's best is to have a separate tool arm for this, like I do for the flat plating. But I'm just going to add this on to the arm I already have, and it's real simple. You just tighten it down, then throw on your belt, tension it up. And you're going to want to run this thing on slow speed. Okay, so I've switched to low gear. And here's a little tip. This thing's going to want to track around a little bit when you first turn it on, which can really wear this aluminum out fast. So as soon as you turn it on, move over to the tracking wheel right here and track it. And that didn't do anything wild. It just slowly went to the left. Just adjust this wheel. You turn it towards you for left and away. To the right, and as you can see, it was just a small turn each way on this wheel. But that's the small wheel attachment. It's great, say if you wanted to cut a choil into this Kiradashi. And say you want to go from a choil to a little notch or something like that, just pop that out, pop in a different attachment, and there you go. Other features on the grinder. Well, the cool thing about this is it's just really simple and built like a tank. So all you really need to do is just track it. Show you the wheel, you turn it to the left and you can see that wheel going up, or to the right and you can see it going down. And it's really simple, very overbuilt construction. See my hand down there for scale, that is just huge. Just built like a tank. You just want to really crank this thing down when you're tensioning your belt, really pull this thing out hard. That's a good tip. To always run high tension. Maintenance. For maintenance on the KMG, I don't really do a whole lot of anything besides use it. Every once in a while I'll spray it down with oil, but you can see there's just really no rust on there. It's building a nice patina. I've had this thing for about 1.5 years, and it's got a lot of really hard use on it. I have several hundred blades on this thing. And I'd like to point out that I have a simpler 2 horsepower setup. It's 220, but you can get a 120 setup that's 1.5 horsepower straight from KMG. You can also get a variable speed setup, which is just awesome. I would highly recommend that as well, but personally I'm great with the 3-speed. So you just turn on a knob instead of the switch and then choose the speed you want like that. And you can get some racks. You can see on the back of this 4 holes. You can have a rack coming up here and it'll hold your tool arms. Those are great too. I'm hoping to pretty much upgrade all that stuff. I really like this grinder. Well, I got one last tip. Use a grinder bucket. Put soap in it to keep the dust down. Those are great. Get a dust collector if you can. Always wear a respirator and eye protection. I like a full face mask. Well, that's about it. If you have any questions, just ask me. You can also get a hold of me on Blade Forums and USN under Daniel Fairley. Thanks for watching and have a great night.